Hello.
How's it going?
Hey.
Oh,
Good
All
to
right,
see you,
well, good
gang.
evening.
There's 5 of us on episode 5.
Yeah,
Whoa.
It's
makes
like
sense.
Did we
Saw 5, you know?
did we plan that? Oh yeah, no, it's exactly like Saw 5.
Let's say
All
hello
right.
to the new kid.
Yeah, Sandy, please
Okay.
introduce
Let
our
me
guest.
introduce Antonio Reed. Antonio is a commentator with Environmental Coffee House, and we have talked about many issues, a cadre of environmental issues, history issues. Tony is one of my most favorites to hang out with. And he's got a, I'm gonna turn it over to Antonio and let him introduce himself a little bit, but I'm glad you're here, Tony.
well, I most certainly am pleased to be here. Thank you for having me. Yeah, I've been working. I've known Sandy Chalice for, well, actually since 2018, 2017.
Mhm.
Maybe as far back as 16. I can't remember. I went
And
to your
you've
house
been
in
to my
18.
house, yes. You
So I
came
knew
to
you
our
before I went to your house. So
Yeah.
sometime between 16 and 18. But yeah, I graduated from Appalachian State in 2017 with degrees in political science and history and Africana studies, um, international relations, comparative politics. I ended up writing or helping to write, I should say, a climate accessibility assessment for my school, Appalachian State University. And that is kind of what drugged me into the environment activism and advocacy side. So, and that brought me right into I was going to say the sandy shores of Sandy Chalice.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's awesome. How poetic.
How poetic.
Yeah,
Yo,
and you were on
even
my
prouder.
show too, which was a huge
Huh?
treat for me.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I was gonna be a glib clown, and I'd rather we keep the professional thing going a little bit longer. Go ahead,
Okay.
man.
No, I was just gonna say it was awesome when you guys came on to talk about climate denial. I've been thinking about that a lot because we could just make like a weekly segment if we wanted to, but then that's basically what your show is.
Yeah.
Well, some of it, yeah. I'll be having Rosh, this UK climate scientist who makes videos debunking denialists, and he's good.
Oh,
His name is Rosh, Rosh, and I'll probably send you all the link. You're gonna like it.
yeah,
It's good.
cool. Do
Yeah.
it.
Excellent.
Well,
Now,
what's going on?
Antonio, if you could just maybe pare down that list a little bit, shorten it up, and just tell us what you do not have a degree in.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
that was like 4 things. That was impressive, man.
Well, it's 3 things with 3 focuses. So
Okay.
yeah, you could triple major or quadruple major at Appalachian, but I triple majored.
Well done, man. Can I reveal? I'm going to reveal a little bit of ignorance here. What state is Appalachia State University in? I literally don't know.
That's
I
if
literally
you're
know
not from
2
the
colleges.
southeast 39 states, I'll let you get away with that.
Fair
But we are nestled in the Appalachian Mountains of North Carolina.
Oh, cool. All right. Is there an observatory in the college?
There is actually. Yes, there is.
Excellent. Excellent. That's what I wanted to hear. Did you ever get to goof around there?
Unfortunately, I did not. I did have several friends take astronomy, and so they did, but I did not. So,
Well, fair enough. I think every good modern spooky story should start somewhere in the South, near a college with some wild scientific instruments. So I look forward to fanfic about your college years.
Oh boy.
there's a lot, unfortunately, or well, maybe fortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah. How's
That's
everybody
awesome.
feeling this week?
I
Yeah. I've been in
Same.
kind of a woo mood.
Oh, really? What does
wait,
that?
a
What does that
woo?
mean? Yeah, what does that
Woo
mean?
mood.
Just
Woo.
feeling
Woo.
yeah, just kind of feeling spiritual, you know?
I was about, you know what? That's so funny because I was about to say, is that Marianne Wilmington there? That woo woo.
A little bit, a little bit.
Woo.
I just had a chat with a beloved viewer about the nature of life, the universe, and everything, and they contributed a lot, and I tried to keep up. They're fantastic.
So what's the verdict?
The verdict is I will burn in hellfire. No, we were just talking about we ended up talking about how a lot of science and religion overlaps in terms of the things we're trying to deal with and the conclusions we arrive at. Funny enough,
Yeah, it actually was very interesting.
yeah, it was a lot of fun. Yeah, I mean, it
Mhm.
wasn't really meant to we were just trying to get to know you, but it was a get to know you of life philosophies. I realize it's
Yeah.
difficult to explain. Look, Cedar Seeds went into business this year, and I've been on a journey myself. But no, we were just talking about, like, for example, would religions have a issue with functional immortality? Like, if we ever got to a point where you can take a brain and preserve it forever, would that butt heads with an existing philosophy? And it was interesting to me to hear the answer of someone who is closer to that world than I am, although they are I would not saddle them with the baggage of any particular religion.
I sure hope
Yeah.
that they get really upset about the brains in the jar. Like,
Yeah.
my goal is to make religion as upset as possible. So
Mine is
Yeah.
not, but I understand where that comes from.
I think when it's my time, if somebody was like, "Okay, Matt, now's your chance. You want to do this forever?" I'd be like, "No, I don't." Um, I was trying to articulate this in your chat, and then I was too distracted, and it just got muddled.
Understand.
I think that we keep adding, we being people, humans, keep adding to or subtracting from the idea of an afterlife or immortality, whatever it is, where it's like that's what makes it fake to me. That people are like, because what I said was, well, can I lose a limb if I'm immortal? Because if so, no thanks. Because I don't want to be immortal incomplete. Do you know what I mean? And then it's
No.
like, well, no. I mean, some people believe that if you're immortal, you have special powers where you can't lose a limb. And I'm like, okay, well, this just all sounds like a
sign me
TV
up for the
show
special
now.
powers. I'll take if anyone has special powers in pill form. Please let me know.
Oh, in pill form.
Well, I think there's
Okay.
been actually a lot of scientific breakthroughs in this area. And one thing Sandy will tell you is, I may have majored or studied certain things in college, but that almost never limits where I end up going intellectually. But no, there's been a lot of research, groundbreaking on what we can do to quote unquote reverse age or slow down aging. Many
Yeah.
scientists, biologists are looking at aging as something more like akin to a disease. And of course, we know there's a lot of different life forms on Earth that age very differently than humans. We're just one set of aging biology. I take the dog, for example. Most people think that dogs age by 7. So every year they age by 7, but that's actually not true. The way that dog age actually looks more like an S curve. So it kind of starts
Yeah.
off slow and goes really, really rapidly through the midterm of their life. But actually, when they get older, their age actually starts to slow down. But by that time, they're already close to their edge, to the end, anyways. So it seems relatively fast for us. And so the way that we try to make sense of that is like, oh, well, they're aging 7 by 7 by 7, so they
Yeah.
end up being 77 years old or whatever, or 71, and that's how we kind of make sense of that. So
Makes us
aging
feel
is a
better.
process, and we've been spending a lot of time looking at that process and figuring out ways that we could perhaps change it, not necessarily stop it, but change it, that could prolong our lives.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of philosophical and religious implications to that.
How do you feel
Absolutely.
about that? Brian Johnson or whatever his name is, the billionaire who wants to live forever.
Who you asking, Antonio?
Yes. Well, I mean, open ended, but
Okay, let's start with the guest. How do you feel about it?
Well, you know what? I asked my, I'll piggyback off something Matt said, because what Matt said was the same thing my brother said when I asked him this. He said, well, when it's my time, I'll be ready. I said, well, right now. And of
Yeah, I'm
course he
ready.
wasn't ready.
I'm ready.
I'm not ready.
I've been ready for literally weeks. I'm not kidding.
Oh, weeks. Wow. Okay.
No, I'm ready. I'm always ready. I am. I just am.
Well, yeah, maybe some people live on the edge. But what I think for most people, they ask themselves that question. And
Yeah.
in their mind, they're 90 or 100 plus years old. Their grandkids have, up and around them, and they live their lives. But
Mhm.
if you're 90 years old and you feel like you're 25,
Mm.
are you going to relate that moment to, oh, well, I'm at the end, so
Yeah,
Hell no.
exactly,
I'm planning on living to
exactly.
200, so that's my plan. I'm going to
Ugh.
live long enough for the technology to catch up, and y'all can have fun
You
with the
think?
dying early thing, but not
when
for
the
me.
Grim
Thank you.
Reaper comes for me, he's gonna open up the door to my mansion's bedroom and go to the 4-poster bed with the bony finger and pull back the sheets and find the equivalent of that setup from the Alcatraz movie, like a beach ball with my head crudely drawn on it. I'm the asses and elbows sprinted across. Old man, hams
Yeah.
just hanging out, flapping in a hospital gown, I presume, in
Oh
the
my
night. Yeah.
God.
You
Yeah.
don't
yeah.
want to go.
I here's the thing. I'm not heartbroken over the fact that this is a race I will eventually lose, but I am of the almost religious belief that one should fight like hell to live as long as not even I don't think you have an obligation to, but I personally want to try my best to go as long as possible, despite the mountain of vice that I bounce that I ride, I guess.
Right. Well, I
I
don't
do
know.
think
As the
it's
go
interesting.
ahead.
No,
I'm
go ahead.
as the oldest of the crew and the closest to the edge. You
Oof.
do get less fearful of it. You
Yeah.
get less fearful because it's going to happen, and especially when people are dropping dead around
Mm.
you, but you've watched them abuse themselves because, my generation, everybody they drank and drugged themselves to liver disease, heart attacks, and all the other shit. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm afraid of it or if I'm just more afraid of leaving my kid a mess. There's other things
Yeah.
too. It's not just spiritual. It's what happens to the people you leave behind.
Yeah.
What happens to left past 10? Like, come on now. As the youngest person here, like, am I just going
Yeah.
to be doing this show by myself? I already got a solo show. Come on.
Oh no, Andrea, you will. You are the
Oh.
baby. Yeah, but no, you won't be alone, Andrea. Never.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I have a zest for life like
Mhm.
anybody else. I hope we all live as long as possible, but I don't want to. I mean, it's funny because I just had an exam today and they were like, you're 100% healthy. Everything's fine. And I was like, you know it. Not even really trying, right? It's
If
just,
you die,
just not
can
doing
I
anything
have the
harmful.
monkey photo?
No, I'll leave it to you. Okay.
Okay. All right. Excellent.
It's not like I have a
love
will,
that.
but
Well,
That's
make
I'll make a
one and
note.
put
I'll
it
make a
in
note
there.
on the back of the thing.
All
If
right.
But
you
my
die,
point is, I'm
can I have the
focused
monkey
on.
photo frame just to annoy Andrea?
Yeah, I don't need the frame. It's all good.
I'm
Never
just focused on, and this is something because it's like they always say, I was raised Catholic and now I'm an atheist. But it's like one thing I learned was, and this was weird growing up, live every day like it's your last day. And I was like, that's so morbid. But what I
It
took
is.
from it, was live life to the fullest in the present, like today. And it's really hard for me to be present. And that's something that I've just accepted I have to work at and keep managing. But because I'm always like, what's going on tomorrow? What do I have to do next week or whatever?
Oh.
But like, I know that by the end of today, it will have been a very full, productive day. Hopefully other people benefited from it in small and large ways.
I really got that wrong. I heard that as well. Live every day like it's your last. And I've just been every day for a year calling all of my relatives with weeping profusely.
They told me to act like it was all over and I just got terrible news and 24 hours left. And yeah.
Shit. Every day like my last, I'd be on morphine and unconscious.
Jeez.
That's great.
I've been
I
pretending
would be
not to
on
recognize
morphine
my
and
son.
conscious.
The what?
Hold on, say
Andrea?
that again.
Oh, I said I would be on morphine and conscious. That's
And
That's
God.
my
And what did you say, Jake?
Yeah.
Something about your
Uh,
son?
Yeah, I've been pretending not to. It got dark, and I feel bad about that one. I
You have
don't.
a
For the record,
son?
I don't have a son, which complicates
Okay.
things immensely.
Yeah.
I just have a very confused Starbucks
Ah.
barista.
Uh-oh.
It sounds like
Can
a
I throw-
personal problem.
Can I throw a round table everybody's way? if it's
please
weird?
don't.
Sure.
Okay. I do want to give consensus.
I would prefer if you
against this,
threw
'cause
a
it's weird.
rectangular table.
All right,
Okay.
all right, rectangular
Ouch.
table.
So nitpicky. Jeez, Andy.
Ship of
Yeah.
Theseus. But Theseus is a guy that's got a ship. Every day his crew replaces a plank, but they save all the planks that they replace and then eventually build a new ship out of the old planks. And the question becomes, which is the ship of Theseus? The one they're sailing or the one that was made out of the original wood?
Ah.
That's not the question. That's to understand the question. The question is
Okay.
this. Matt, you lose your arm
Mhm.
per your earlier example, and you get it replaced with a kick-ass robot arm. Bzz, bzz, bzz. It's rad. You can
Mhm.
do tricks and whatnot. And then you start having seizures, unrelated, but there's a lobe in your brain which, just let's say, it processes salt. That's all. So you can understand that you're tasting salt, and you replace that with a lab-grown biomechanical whatever. Are you still you? And how many lobes of your brain get replaced? How many body parts get replaced before you stop being you? Or is it just the continuity of consciousness that makes you you? A little light discussion. Who wants to take this one? How many lobes? Oh, go for it, Andrea.
Well, how many lobes? I believe the correct answer is 17, actually.
17.
17. Once you get to the 18th lobe,
That's it.
it's
Robot
over.
abomination.
Like,
yeah.
But that's the thing, is that's when you lose consciousness. Then you become like a beast machine zombie, you know? Like, so I looked into this, and
That's
it
rad.
actually is 18 lobes. So that's actually scientifically proven.
I can just imagine a world where
18
people are like,
lobes.
don't listen to him. He's on his 16th lobe. You know?
That was good.
Well, is this like,
Oh,
because
shit.
think about it. People have augmented hearing, glasses.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah,
people are
y'all
already.
wear glasses too. I'm the only one doing it today. I know several of y'all are throwing me under the bus here.
I
Now I'm
lost-
the minority all of a sudden.
I lost
Aw.
Why
my
don't you
main
get
pair of
gussied up?
glasses. I ordered new glasses. I lost
You
them. But
lost your glasses.
So
Here, why
what
don't
ha-
I do this?
what I think is,
Make you feel better. How's that?
there
right.
is
Lovely.
She feel better now?
no
I feel great.
extent. There is no extent.
I don't need them.
So you could just
Mhm.
be a consciousness in
Okay.
a fully automated robotic being or whatever. As long as somebody isn't controlling stuff, I guess I'm trying to like simplify it in my mind as I say it out loud for the first time, but I think that the essence of somebody like your consciousness is really all you need. Because,
Mm.
I personally don't invest any time or thought into the soul. I don't know what that is. I
Right.
think that's a human construct. That's
The
just something we
soul,
made
we
up
both
for
have
something.
2 of them.
So
I feel like if you
to replace my
Bad
soul.
joke.
I feel like if you study a Johnny Depp movie long enough, the answer is going to come to you.
Well,
So
yeah, but like, okay, so to the original thing about the ship, though, like, is there a Mach 2? Is there a 2.0? Then that gets weird, right? Like, if you have enough of a person that it's like, hey, we can afford to have 2 bodies sharing a brain, then it's like, all right, this is getting weird now. I think
I'm
it
down
can
if
be
anyone wants to
distorted.
share, like, eliminate your consciousness, and then I'll take over your body. It's just, little extra.
What if that was an option?
Yeah, donate your
This
bodies
is an
to me.
awfully woolly, itchy body. I'm not sure you would be too
Jeez.
pleased
I'll
with
find
that
a use
drink.
for it. I'll figure it out,
A lot of brown sugar on this bowl of oatmeal.
Whoever took over my body would be like, wow, he craves candy bars 24/7. This is insane.
Antonio, I'm curious, where do you land with this? At what how do you feel that a totally replaced person is still the person? Or at that point are they a robot that thinks it's a person?
I was serious though about that Johnny Depp movie. I don't know if you guys saw it.
Explain, please.
Transcendence.
I did
I
see
haven't
it.
seen
Yeah.
that one.
Oh yeah, right. I
Ooh,
remember
we're
that.
going to have to watch it and come back and do a movie review.
Yeah.
I saw it, but I don't remember how it ends.
Well, Tony's
which-
going to tell
which
us.
is somewhat
I
embarrassing.
won't. I
Hit me.
won't. No spoilers.
No.
Well, no big spoilers. So
Give me,
Transcendent.
give me the little
idea-
one though.
Yeah. So in the title. So basically the idea is he transcends the human body into a computer, or at least his
Yeah.
consciousness
Oh, I
is
never
uploaded
saw it.
onto a computer. And that is the question. Is it him?
Yeah.
It sounds like him, but I mean, what does that mean? I mean, somebody we just saw today with AI that people can
Yeah.
replicate your voice and use it in ways to maybe get into or authenticate things. So that is actually a really, I think, pertinent question. Is it you? If you do that, right? Can the vessel without the body, or the mind without the vessel? I don't know. To me, it's like the fundamental question would be the freedom of thought that I think I'm experiencing now. Is that perspective changed in any way?
Hmm. And if it does change, I mean, my perspective I genuinely don't recall how old I am, 30 something, is much different than my perspective as a 20 something. I genuinely don't remember how old I've been. But the point being, my perspective has changed because the input has changed, and how I interact with reality has changed. But I'm still me, I think. And the point being, I'm not sure I think you certainly would experience things differently, being a mechanical person instead of a chemical reaction, so an electrical reaction, I guess. But I wonder if that would still be you, and then I would have to toss curveballs at the question, even if they are bordering on why would this happen? But what if some shady doctor saved all the parts that got replaced, fixed them, and reassembled them? Who's the original? Is it you? Or
Well, let me
do you
push
boy.
back a
certainly have
little
twin?
bit, if I can.
Okay, go.
I would
Oh.
say that the perspective is about the physical properties, right? So, as an organic being, does that network of neurons, that what we call our brain, is there something fundamental to that? Even, forget aging and maturation, right?
Hmm.
If you put that on silicon, are the physical properties of that going to be such that you don't think in a way that we might be able to identify as human intelligence. I mean, that's the big argument right now, is that we're developing these quote unquote artificial minds. But are they really engaged in intelligence as we understand it? If you ask people like Noam Chomsky, he says no.
Right.
They're not actually telling us anything about intelligence. And so that's the type of that's what I mean is, and I guess it's a bit hard to articulate, but if I take the organic matter in my head is producing my mind,
Yeah.
but if I exchange that organic matter for something that's not organic, inorganic, would that physical change also change how my brain can process thoughts?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I know that's kind of hard to.
No, the
It's a good
processing,
question.
you're talking about a procedure, actually. You're just talking about the different parts of the brain and how it processes. It's going to process different. It's never going to process the same as it did before if you do any kind of medical intervention. That's why people that have had brain surgery process different. That's why people with traumatic brain injuries process different. And and depending on the part of the brain that they've injured, it's completely all bets are off. So it
But
won't
you would
be.
say, oh, that's a good analogy, Sandy. So because I would actually argue, let's take a dementia patient. They do have the same body, but mentally, that's not the person you married 30, 40 years ago.
Oh no.
And we hear people say that all the time.
Mhm.
What does that mean?
I
Yeah.
mean, I think that applies to any long-term relationship, though.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not the person I was 30 minutes ago in some ways. But I mean, I've been married for over 20 years and to my high school sweetheart.
Aw.
And in some ways, we're exactly the same. And then when you stop and think about it, you're like, that's 10% of who we are now. Like, we can revert back to who we were in high school at any moment and just be like, yeah, we're that again. And then it's like, oh, wait, the mail's here. What bills await? You know, like,
Yeah, but
how-
you didn't have any kind of medical intervention or AI intervention. Your intervention for change has been life and experience. Now, experience is also in the brain. So
yeah.
that's
And is
that's
experience like AI in that way?
well, it could be. It sounds
I
like,
have a
you know,
question.
Like
yes.
learning as you
Is
Yes.
a turtle conscious?
Yes. I
Yeah.
saw one in my
Oh,
driveway
yeah.
last summer and it froze
Yes.
when
So
it
if a
saw me.
turtle is conscious, right, then the definition of consciousness and how we experience it doesn't necessarily need to be human. Therefore, could a
True.
computer be conscious in a way that's not human?
It is already. It's just mechanically,
I
right?
don't know,
Isn't
because
it?
now we're talking
Reprogramming
about
it.
like what is
I think
alive?
yes, for the record.
But then we
It's
turn
a
it
great
off.
question.
Yeah, it is. It is. It makes you think a lot. My chat's going
So
crazy with a lot of good
is
comments.
it immoral to unplug a computer?
A living one, yeah, I would say.
But is there a difference between
No.
being conscious and having consciousness?
Yeah.
Because there's a
Yeah, I'm leaning into that.
level there's a level of awareness that we give to things. There's a scale of it. And because in a way, I mean, I would say that ants are conscious, you
Mm.
know.
Yeah.
But I would certainly distinguish between the consciousness of an ant, turtle, and a dog, and myself. So I might distinguish AI, but that's the thing. When we say artificial intelligence, it's not artificial in the ether, it's artificial human intelligence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, I'll add two things. Number one, I think if a thing is aware it exists, it is conscious. That's simple. If it's experiencing thought, that is a miracle of matter that should be treasured from my perspective. But I think if you and I don't believe anyone has the correct answer, least of all me. But my answer, nonetheless, to the ship of Theseus problem for humans is that I think it's like a different stage of life when you are replaced, when you've replaced everything. I think it's like larva, pupa, etc. I think it's still you, and it still counts as you, but you is a very different creature. And perhaps maybe even it's more accurate to say you are the parent of the new creature that you have become, which is a different thing than you once were. Because of the reasons Antonio put forward, you will experience things necessarily differently. Although now that I say that, it requires an imperfect procedure. And I think when you think about the philosophy of it, you have to imagine also a perfect procedure where the replacements function exactly the same as the original organs for the purposes of the philosophy.
But Jake, that's my question, because
Yeah.
right now our brains run on electrochemistry.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So if you
Absolutely.
replace that with metal and electronics, fiber optics, it's going to be running at the speed of light. So that's what
Good
I'm saying.
point.
That's a physical property that I imagine would demonstrably change the way that we are conceiving of our free thought right now. But I can't even begin to say how. It's not. It would. You might say, well, we would think faster. Well, it would be the equivalent of thinking infinitely faster. And what does that
Sure.
mean in terms of a result?
See, I have this. This is
Sphere
what I
faster
struggle
mean.
with. I answer the question initially with the intention to answer it for myself, and I gradually start to answer it for all of humanity, like
Yeah.
on some bigger scale, some moral scale. So what I go back to is, for me, I would like it if all human beings strive to achieve um, our full potential as human beings without that full potential, including artificial intelligence. If the best thing humans can achieve is artificial perfect intelligence, then I think we've missed the mark. We,
Yeah.
just speaking for myself, you know what I mean?
I
Like
disagree.
it's my opinion.
All right, Andrea.
You say you disagree?
I
Yeah.
disagree.
Hit
Yeah,
us.
I mean, I think everything is artificial. Like if you talk to someone from 300 years ago and said, "Oh, where'd you learn that?" "Oh, I learned it by looking it up on the computer." They would go,
Yeah.
"That's not real. That you didn't experience that firsthand. How do you really know that?"
Yeah, let's get off the computer then. If realizing our full
All right, let
potential
her
as
ha- you
human
start.
beings means
Well,
naked in the woods, okay, let's
You
go.
start.
How,
hold
You're
let's
getting
on.
off
start
the
there.
computer.
To defend Andrea's point, and I think she makes a really good point there, is we're talking about experience, but for computers, a type of experience is a simulation. But the equivalent or the analogy of a simulation for humans would be storytelling. In fact, that is how before people like me sit around and start thinking about a scientific history, that is in fact how we passed on our history, our knowledge from one generation to the other, is through
Storytelling.
these stories that have deeper meanings that none of the people who are sitting around actually necessarily maybe even experience those stories or the origins or ontologies of those stories.
Yeah, it's
Hmm.
true.
Yeah. It's
Thank
pretty
you.
good.
Oh.
This is pretty deep. I
Okay,
like it.
then can we make it so that AI doesn't exist purely to do all the fun stuff? Like, can it do
Yeah.
some of the
Yes.
labor-intensive menial shit too? Because
Yeah.
then, am I winning you guys back at all with that?
Can I have an
Absolutely.
AI house cleaner, please?
Yeah. So
Can
I can write and draw without computers
Yeah,
for a
I want
change.
I want
Although
an AI cat litter cleaner.
I do use computers for my art, so I don't know why I'm sitting here saying artificial intelligence is
you
bad.
avoid
Yeah,
it.
look at
Yeah,
this
but
fucking
you're not
nerd with his
partaking.
glasses on.
But my idea
Well,
is
Matt.
what I don't like is the idea of the computer doing it for me, and then I
Right,
go,
it's not for you at all.
ta-da! Look what
I
I
haven't
did.
Yeah, well,
right.
you're in that
You're an
weird
artist.
in-between zone where you're doing some of the work and the computer's doing some
It's
of the
called
work.
alchemy.
I can actually,
It's
if we're
called
gonna
you're an artist.
going down this line, I can make an argument for this stuff.
Yeah.
there are plenty of folks like me whose passion lies more in the production end of things, where I like to come up with cool concepts and then get a team together and do it. And the replacing of the team with robots, I think, is fine. It's just another tool. That's all it is. But I think you could have the most advanced robot in the universe, and it will still not beat the work of the individual artist. And the reason for that has nothing to do with human capability and everything to do with, I think, the core of what Antonio was touching on earlier, which is human experience.
And
A
soul.
robot will only
Soul.
ever be able to mimic, will only ever be able to speak to things it thinks it knows. Whereas all of us here have lived the experience of being a human. So when we do art for humans, we will be writing from experience, no matter how we make it.
I have a counterpoint.
Hit me.
Well, we only experience our own version of reality. And I also don't believe that there is a consistent version of reality. Like, I think it's totally possible all of y'all are just make believe and you don't exist, and I'm just talking to myself. That's possible. I mean, how
Well,
can
I
you
am, but
tell?
I'm pretty sure Sandy's real.
Yes.
Well, AI
like
can't do mind expanding drugs or mind altering.
I think
so
it can. It
can't
can come up
see-
with
Get it,
new
though.
drugs.
AI can be programmed to experience what the drug does to the human brain.
So if AI malfunctions, that's the same as tripping.
I hope.
Oh my gosh.
well, it would
But
be
also, I have
interesting
one more
thought.
thing.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, AI is typically trained on the amalgamation of all human collective intelligence and documentation, right? So theoretically, an AI would have access to more human experience than we could ever possibly have. Like, it would have access, let's assume it can look at the entire internet, you know, it can, anything on Wikipedia it has access to instantly. It would have all of the human experiences that have ever been recorded. So if the AI can't actually recreate a human experience, wouldn't that be our fault for not being able to properly explain the human experience? And if we can't properly explain the human experience, are we really having a human experience?
whoa.
That
think
is the human
creativity-
experience.
It's intriguing.
It's like I would say it's like kind of, if I can use this word, it's a very conspiratorial word, but I'm not finding another one. It's like a firmament. There might just be a barrier, because now I'm calling into this question, what is experience? Earlier when Jake was talking about consciousness, there was the question about if you are aware, if you know that you are here, but what about things that have sensations? You know, they can respond to certain stimuli, but they
Yeah.
certainly would not count as conscious on any of the levels that we talked about, an ant or a turtle or a dog or a human. But I'd ask this question about the AI, if it's actually experiencing things. Knowledge and experience are two different things. And the knowledge of an experience is not the experience itself.
Right.
So and there's a barrier, because then the question is, how do you get the robot, the AI, to experience it? Well, the question would be, you put the AI into a robot and then it can have that human experience. But then the question is really, is metal having the same experience, even if it has sensors
No.
in it that you're having?
No.
Do you see AI needing, let's say a robot, do you see them needing therapy?
Yes.
Oh, we're going a little
record.
farther in my
No,
mind.
well, I mean, if it's about experience and understanding and learning from
Well, why would we
experiences,
give them dysfunctional need
they
for
depressed?
therapy?
do they feel like they don't understand themselves and they need advice from a professional? Like, is that where does this stop? You know, and now I can see a whole market for it, right? It's like, hey, you're a therapist, I need therapy, and they go, oh, I specialize in AI. You know, it's I don't
Oh
know.
my God.
It's so funny. I'll be really
Fascinating.
quick with this comment because I just love
Go, please.
movies and the analogies here. But Will Smith, 2004 iRobot. I forget her name, but the main female supporting actress is actually a psychiatrist for robots.
Oh, really? I just had that idea originally.
yeah.
Wow.
So that's
See?
iRobot.
Turns out it's not original.
No, but
you might
isn't
have
it
seen the movie.
isn't it great when you have $1 million ideas on your own? Come on, that means I can have my own
Yeah,
one
there you
day.
go.
Yeah,
I've
it's
had many
about 20
$1
years late,
million.
buddy.
I do have to say on
Okay.
the topic of like, can a robot do drugs? Man, that got me thinking though. If you do have genuine AI in the future, where the only thing artificial about the intelligence is that it was made in a factory, but otherwise it is by every measure a living thing. You could genuinely have robots who are out there like, I need to be creative. I just read about this guy named John Lennon. Somebody write me a virus which won't crash my hard drive, but will make me act goofy for about 5 hours. Give me a light virus, just like a small poison. I'd be fascinated to see the Walter White that's out there programming for ne'er-do-well computers.
You can see like some
is a good
a-hole
market.
cop is like arresting a robot for doing like the robot equivalent of heroin. They're like, buddy, lock him up.
Shit. Hey,
Come
there's
on, it's just a
robot
phishing
dogs
virus.
now, aren't they? Aren't they
True.
robot dogs? Are they
Yeah.
AI? Can they smell the robot dogs
Nah,
that the cops
I
have?
mean, the robot, the huge distinction between robot and artificial intelligence is that a robot is just a complicated tool, whereas artificial intelligence comes up with its own commands within a limited
Okay,
set.
so they're not putting that into police dogs yet.
Not
I
yet.
would say AI would necessarily be an unlimited set. If it's limited, it's still just a program, essentially.
Let me try this again. Within some parameters, because without parameters, it can't ever complete a thought. Although I'm thinking from biological terms, maybe it can. Never mind. Who knows?
Well, I was going to say one thing that, because I actually used my, I shouldn't say my, because I don't want to associate any possession with it. I use I use Chat GPT quite a bit, and they're on Series 4 now. And
Sure.
one of the things that they warn you about is that, which actually I think they're extremely, and for this reason, I think they're dangerous tools right
Oh
now.
boy.
But it tells you as a warning as you're about to use it to make sure you fact check it. And that's
Oh,
actually that's very insightful because
yeah.
in my experience, very high level, I have found that the AI can produce what seems to be facts that are completely in its totality made up. And I've experienced that multiple times, and I don't think I would have caught it had I not been trained in the fields in which I was asking questions. And I wonder, and I do wonder this, what is an artificial intelligent hallucination?
Oh my God. Whew.
Well, you know what? I have a pseudo answer to that, which is that we are, in my opinion, about to experience an AI art traffic jam. Because right now, if you look at the percentage of the images on the internet that were not created by a computer, I would say it's 95%. Let's just say that.
Mhm.
In 10 years, with how
Mhm.
easy it is to create an image with AI, I don't think
Mhm.
that'll be the case, and you will have the old problem of a copy of a copy of a copy.
Right.
So I think the answer to your question is whatever the 1,550th copy is when it becomes true and well and true nonsense. because it has no more basis or it has only the most tenuous basis in reality. I think that's what we're going to see. It's 6 fingers right now is something we all laugh at. And then it's going to be like the standard image of a human has like a bunch of whatever.
I have a
But yeah.
comment.
Hit me.
So, who is to say that the AI is not already conscious and that we only exist in order to fuel the AI's consciousness? So, we exist in the sense that like possibly we're a simulation inside the AI of what would a human think or do or feel in this scenario. So we're created to run that experiment. And or if the AI is fueled off of everything on the internet and we're currently producing something for the internet, what if we're only here for this moment just to produce something for the AI to learn from, and our entire lives are just the excuse for this to make sense to us? Like we don't actually exist. We
So
just have
AI has
our
been the
entire
God.
life. Yeah,
It's
essentially.
the creator, and we are really living inside.
I mean, I
And
think
we
that would be
feel
really
like we've had
boring.
entire lives because if we
Ah.
didn't feel like that, then this wouldn't exist in the way it would. It would just be a computer generated whatever. So it creates the illusion of having, 70 years of experience, or I don't know how old you guys are. I mean, so you feel it's real. I was born in whatever the fuck, 1815 or whatever the hell, right? You feel that
Oh, you do
that's
know how
real,
old I
but
am.
how do you know if it's real or not?
But 1815 isn't even a thing in that scenario, right? That's
Well,
just
yeah,
like
but it's a thing to us.
Well,
think
I
we're
mean, I
going
know
into
I'm here because
science fiction territory.
somebody poured a bottle of whiskey and lit a joint in a bathroom sink and looked in the mirror and said mac and cheese 5 times. But I don't know. It's possible for you guys.
yeah.
Apparently that's how I'm summoned. I don't know where I'm going with this joke. But no, I mean, broadly speaking, I would say it's just the whole how do you know God didn't make you last Thursday and put all your memories in your mind? It's impossible to disprove, so I ignore it. But I think it's not something to be ignored forever. One day we might have to be like, we really have to deal with the fact that there's a limit to how far we can observe in the universe and why that may be. And why light seems to bend after a certain distance. It's a good question. I don't know, man.
Just combining these topics of religion and technology. Sandy said I was doing a lot of studying in religion, particularly Judaism. Trying to piece together this idea that the angels, and then later Adam and Eve, are for God the first artificial intelligence. That you have this creator, this mind, and he creates the angels. And in Judaism, if you know about angels, they don't have any independent agency of their own. Okay.
Man.
So asking this question about consciousness, right? So the angels, even Satan, who is an angel, everything he does is the will of God. He has no independent will of his own. The difference between in the beginning, quote unquote, between angels and humans is at this point humans are still divine, they're immortal. The difference between angels and humans is that humans have free will. Okay, they're the first AI with free will. And so what happens is that there's a sort of dispensationalism, and there's epics throughout God's creation. This is experience with AI, with human intelligence or artificial intelligence.
EPOCH, for the record.
Okay.
I just read a Green Lantern comic book on this subject because Green Lanterns power their ring through willpower. And the Earth's Green Lantern of Sector 2814 has the opportunity to become a god and realizes there's no free will. And he's like, I'd rather have the power ring. And he's like, denies the opportunity.
That is
I don't
such
believe in free will personally.
I'm with you mostly there, but Beat, that is such a fascinating look at it, because when you set aside the materials, you're 100% correct. Angels are basically just robots. They're made out of whatever celestial thing they're made out of, but they do not have free will. They are automata, essentially. Humans, according to the Bible, from a certain point of view, are true AI who have gone rogue, I guess.
Yeah, I was about to say, and what do we do? I mean, it's a great lesson here. And this lesson actually shows a weakness and element about the Jewish God, is that he's not perfect, because he creates humans to do what? Govern the earth as God would. They're supposed to shepherd the earth. But of course, what do they end up doing? They end up eating from the tree of what? Knowledge of good and evil. And what does that do? It turns the world into chaos. And so God has to make, in theological terms, we'll say a covenant, but you might think about it as a program or a contract. And each time, with Adam and Eve, and then with Noah, and then with Abraham, and with David, God is updating his protocols. He's making the contract or program or the covenants more explicit, because each time the AI are failing to achieve,
Damn.
his will or
This is
his plan.
This is deep.
This is fascinating.
Because
That is such an interesting take.
I keep thinking my basic self is just saying, well, but none of it's real to me.
Well, I'm secular, so for me, just like I said, these
Your study.
storytellings,
Yeah.
it is very interesting to me that you can make such an analogy
Yes.
that is so relevant to the
Yeah.
experiences that we're all having right now with this conversation
That's
about AI.
true.
Well,
As
isn't
you
that
brought
just
up
like
each inclination, every different person that lived was being improved upon.
yeah, but isn't
Yeah.
that just like also like religion was made by humans, and it's very like human existential problems that we all face and think about, right? So it's going
Mhm.
to apply forever because we're all human.
Well, what was, I guess, because in this case, the human is
Deep shit.
right, that people have said,
Thanks.
first man made God in our image, then God made us in his, right? But the question is here is, we're in the same shoes of as God, okay?
Mm.
And so I think this takes a very high level of abstraction, right? That humans are putting themselves in the place of having created themselves and thinking about that reflexively through the character of God.
My word. I'll tell you this, my friend. I'm going to be up tonight, wide-eyed, just dwelling on that. My mind is well and truly blown. It's a fascinating take. Especially the updates.
Yeah.
The implications are huge.
Huge if true.
Yeah, and I don't even mean like huge if you're a believer in this or that or the other thing. I just mean when you take out the actual materials the thing is crafted of or from, be it a rib or a circuit, it's the same problem. It's the same problem. And then you have the further question: if you put all this work into an AI and it doesn't do what you want it to do, at what point do you delete, or do you do a software update, a la the new books or whatever? I mean, I'm not quite quick enough. I'm a community college dropout talking to a multiple degree haver. So
Well, I'm a high school
I won't be
dropout,
able.
so I
Oh
got you beat.
God, don't. Jesus.
but
Don't
I'm
worry,
I'm
I have
I'm
just as much as you, Antonio, but it is what it is. We went to school. Life goes on. You guys have a
but
lot of brilliance. It doesn't
I only
matter.
mean
So
it's
education doesn't always matter, believe me, at all.
I
I just
agree
mean
with
it.
Sandy.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna have to
cost
chew
me a
on it
lot of
for a
money.
long time.
Hey, we're smart enough to platform Antonio, so
Oh God, please,
give
please
me some
don't.
credit. Give
Like,
us some credit.
It's too late. It's
Oh
done.
my
You
God.
platform.
My
I
thing
think the
is,
chats are having fun. At least I'm seeing.
yeah,
I'm gonna
I'm
shout
over
out to
here
all of you
reading.
guys. Yeah, keeping up with us and deep diving because we
I feel
had
like
no idea. This was you started it, Jake.
I know. I feel like I got my thing talked about. I want to
But that's
I want to
okay.
open it up to whoever.
No, it's great. We went
No
well,
agenda.
where I would
Yeah.
never go. So it was very interesting.
Well, when it comes to the ship of Theseus, the point is kind of
Yeah.
illogical when you factor in that we're all made of cells that regenerate, and we're not the same collection of cells we were 10 years ago. So I mean, the ship of
True.
Theseus is happening
Shit, I'm
without
not.
machines.
Mm.
True. True.
Oh, my cells are falling apart.
I do. I
Are we
would like
not
to.
machines though?
Yeah,
Well,
that's
we're
the thing.
machines, I
Yeah,
think. Just not our
Biological
versions of
machines.
machines. Yeah.
we require repair.
I am a simple machine,
Upgrades.
like a wedge.
I
Or football.
am
We are
an
machines that have to
aggressively
go to work.
chill machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are. You're a chill machine. They put the chill pill in you.
Is that a gigantic carrot behind you, Andrea?
Sure,
By the
I'm
way?
sure
Yeah, that's
God.
Max's carrot, so I'm not allowed to touch it.
Do you think God thinks I'm wasting valuable free will by using it to just chill all the time? Or is that like, or would, and this is a random God, but would God be like, that guy figured it out? Just chill out, everybody. Bring it down and keep it down. You know what I mean? Or
We can
is
take
it like,
free.
geez, man, get pissed off?
Aren't you seeing what's going on over here? Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Should you burn bright or burn long?
I'm
don't
gonna
know.
read a comment, guys,
Burn well, whatever
No,
you do.
no.
from our Gary Hoover. I have to read it because it's a good one. God is an infinite atheist. God has had trouble believing in God's self for forever. Fear not, atheists are God's favorite people with a special place in the restored creation. And Gary is a man of faith, and I read his newsletter. Thank you, Gary.
Oh, lovely. Lovely. Link in the Discord if you don't mind when you get a chance. Link me Gary's newsletter. I want more
okay.
religious people in my life.
Just give me your email and I'll send it to him to put it. And another one, I told you I did a show on Jared Brock, Brock. He's wonderful writer. He's a Christian, but he is not proselytizing, and he's a great writer.
He's a Christian, but
He's not. No, I'm saying he's not proselytizing because a lot of times these days you think of the Christians and it's all all over. Oh, it's the evangelicals. They're proselytizing. They want no. Jared is beautiful and his writing is beautiful, and he talks about for him what the meaning of Jesus Christ is. And Jesus Christ for him was just a guy that was really a good guy, and nobody's following those things that the real man taught. Nobody's following things like that. And he writes about
I like
capitalism.
to keep it simple. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll send you a link.
Oh, lovely. I'll toss in one last thing because now I'm thinking about times my mind has been blown tonight and why I love these conversations. When I was talking to Wireless Mike earlier, what he tossed out as an idea is what if we are how God learns and we are just the neurons essentially of God's thoughts. That one I'm still chewing on.
Well, I
don't
guess
have anything to
you're
add
gonna
to it is my point.
Jake, you're going to be the one that's up mulling this. I can guarantee
Yes.
you were right.
Yes.
I won't be.
I'm not going to sleep tonight. How could I? From what you guys have said, that's too interesting.
Well, I'll say something really quickly because that's actually a thought I've had for a very long time, actually.
Really?
So, again, just, since I'm studying the Bible, in the book of Exodus, God introduces himself um, as he tells Moses, I am that I am. And in English, obviously, the word I am is just a conjugate of the verb to be. But think about this. So I am Antonio, a human being. That's the type of being, that's the type of state of existence that I am in. I'm a human being. There are dog beings. There are a bunch of different states of being. But God presents himself as what? As the being that being, existence itself.
Yes.
And
Sounds a
what
little
it,
narcissistic.
Yeah.
what it means to be an Israelite is one who wrestles with God, or you might say one who wrestles with existence. And so when God had brought his creation into being, he was performing something, because God is what? God is not human. God is not a computer. He's not a dog. But these are all different states of being that through their lives, God can experience what it means to be human or what it means to be a dog. And through these collective experiences, God is learning. And so collectively, your conscious, my conscious, is a manifestation of a body of knowledge that God is obtaining through our species of being human, but also everything else that has consciousness or existence in the universe.
Well,
That is-
I have a question on that one because, like, why would God need to experience what being a human is like if God creates humans in the first place, right? Like, so, like, what's the point of it? Like, why would you come up with, oh, I want to see what it's like to be a human? It's like, if I were to like, oh, I want to see what it's like to be a, and then I create that being just to see what it's like, kind of.
All I
I
gotta
don't-
say is there's not enough art in the Bible. Okay.
There's too much art.
Boring.
in the
That's
Bible.
probably true.
Now I
That's
want to see some
probably true.
I wouldn't
illustrations. You have
know.
all this stuff that's supposed to be real explanatory, no diagrams, no illustrations. It's a poor reference book. I want to see figure one, you know what I'm saying? Where's the appendices? It's just nobody writes one draft and that's it.
Whatever.
Well, how do you feel about the
whatever.
missing like chapters or whatever the fuck? Like, some
Did
people
they have
claim,
pictures?
I don't know. Well, I mean,
Okay.
Antonio might know more about this, like the missing chapters of the Bible that I think it was like the Dead Sea Scrolls or some shit like that, where they found
Yes.
some and this is supposed to be in the Bible, but someone forgot it along the way, so they missed it or whatever. And then there's
Really?
like 30 fake.
And somebody told the story that happened, and we really don't know if it's real.
The
Well,
most
I'll say
fortunate.
really quickly though, Andrea, is that to answer this question, why would God create humans, takes us back to the beginning, right? That these people who are engaging about trying to come up with this explanation. But I would ask the question to us then, since we're using this analogy, why are we creating AI? But first of all, we say that as if we're creating one singular AI, right? We're creating a bunch of different AIs with a bunch
Right.
of different functions and purposes.
Right.
So I don't know if theologically I have the rendering on that answer or for that question for you, but I would imagine it has something to do with the nature of God, which, to go back to Matt's question, would God be upset if he's spending too much time resting? I guess something about the nature of God is productivity. God treasures what it
Interesting.
means to create and to work. So I would imagine that it's not just for the fact of having experience, but particularly with some of his creation, And I'm not religious. I didn't
No,
want to get
Yeah.
you're a
Oh, yeah.
scholar. You're a scholar.
I'm-
We're
Just to be clear, I'm not with those guys, you know.
Yes. So I don't, you won't find me doing any orthodox things, but
But this is what
But-
this is what irritates me. Of all the religion and good intentions of it and all that, everyone still suffers. Everyone still has BS 9 to 5 jobs and works for
Yeah.
slaves to capitalism. No one, we don't all have insurance. There's no universal health care. People don't care about other people. It's like, okay,
Yeah, religion
How-
are like these powerful institutions, and yet they can't actually.
how
give
long
us-
do we go? It's just like how politicians say trickle down economic. Okay, how long before we all go, that's never worked. It's not working.
right.
What else? Can we all get together and decide and stop arguing about the right thing to do? Get together and figure out the right thing to do, Like
Get
you're
it
just
done.
counting on utopia. You're not working for it. That's what that's personally, that's what irritates me about the whole thing. It's very divisive.
True.
So divisive. Oh my god.
and I'm only
What
just
was
saying
segregating?
here, the religious analogies for me were to help explain. That's something we do in history is we try to see a historical event and ask ourselves, are similar like events happening today? Can we
Yeah.
make these analogies from yesteryear to the current? Not as an actual religious device, but as a way of thinking about something. And I think that gives us a good basis, this analogy between God's creation of human and angels and then our creation of AI.
Yeah.
Well,
that's
let me
pretty
throw
cool.
this in.
Fascinating.
How does humanity just repeats itself with different sophisticated tools. It just keeps repeating war and killing and oppression. Hasn't humanity done that from the very beginning?
I mean,
Greed,
that's part of
power, corruption, that kind
What
of stuff.
what societies were peaceful? Maybe there were indigenous peaceful societies that are out there. I haven't studied it, but it just seems to me that it's just the human species itself is designed in a way to keep replicating the same behavior.
Not even
over and
humans.
over.
All
I think some of the
creatures
Yeah,
oldest
maybe
do this.
civilizations that we have record of are like
Yeah.
more communistic though. Like I remember reading about civilizations like I don't know how many years ago, but I think it was like 20,000 years ago or something around there, where like every house like with that had like equal size, like there was no king castle or whatever the fuck. Like everything was built equally for everyone to have like, a room or whatever. Like
Sure,
everyone
they were
had like a fireplace
hunter-gatherers.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, like so I think that I personally think that the natural
Survival.
state of human being existence is like more communitarian. But also humans are, we have one of the ways that we operate is we learn from things that happen, right? And
Yeah.
so when one bad thing happens, right, we learn from that and either we overcorrect and result in a bad thing or we learn to do the bad behavior, and so I think, we can make an argument that we've always been violent, but I disagree. I think we're naturally not as violent as people like to say we are, because I think, when we live in this society, we're surrounded by violence. So we're steeped in violence. All we ever learn is violence, but that's not necessarily natural.
Is violence different from conflict? Because I think I more would err on the side of conflict, which doesn't always involve violence, does it?
Well, I
Or
mean,
does it?
conflict can be like, like, what are we having for supper tonight? Potatoes or
Well,
tomatoes, right?
historical conflict.
Well, I mean,
Well,
yeah, like,
I'm not sure I understand this idea that I mean that was the whole project of civilization in the first
Right.
place was to get us out of nature because nature is unwieldy. We can't control it. Not only is nature a place where we inflict violence amongst ourselves, but also nature
Okay.
itself inflicts violence among us. And so civilization is the
Just the
step of controlling that violence. That the only violence that's going on is
Wow.
between us. Notice that one thing that humans did was everywhere we are, we took out all animals that are even relatively
Yep.
close in our. We either
Historically.
domesticated them or
Mhm.
driven them to extinction. That's how we treat all the other life forms. But we
Yeah.
also do have a special category of violence, the way that we treat ourselves. So I don't
Okay.
think that the question is, were we? I think we've always been violent, but certain cultures certainly do catalyze that or take advantage and exploit that, and other cultures try to push back against. I think what are natural inclinations and
Okay.
tendencies.
Thank you,
Well,
Antonio.
I would also say that there's a difference between nature as it exists and our nature, you know? I think that the
Mm.
fact that we do strive to create communities or whatever, I think, you know, I don't necessarily believe in a hierarchy among different animals, right? I think we all operate on a different wavelength, but you know, there's
Mhm.
animals that are pacifists, you know, that don't hurt other animals, whether that's because, you know, they can't, but or it's, you know, like an elephant. Elephants don't go out of the way to hurt anybody. They could. Elephants could kill people if they
The
wanted
deer
to.
don't either.
Sometimes they do, you know, like, you know, when humans steal their land, sometimes they'll kick one of them. But like, imagine being an elephant and you're walking around and you see like a dog, and
Yeah.
you know, you could kill the dog, but you don't. I think certain animals, and you know, where animals obviously have like strive to be certain kinds of ways. I think we strive and always have strived to be communitarian. Um, and you know, I think that that's in our nature. I don't necessarily think that violence is, you know, I think you can make a claim that violence is the nature, I guess, of most things. But I think that we're in a category, at least I like to think this, similar to elephants, where we're trying to bring about peace and prosperity. And I also don't necessarily think that like civilization, like I think we need to have two kinds of ways of what civilization is, right? Because there's civilization like we're all living together, and then there's civilization we're accomplishing our goals. And like we're all living together, sure, I guess, but you know, we don't even have clean drinking water, we don't have clean air, we
That's
don't
what I'm
have
saying.
clean food, right? So these are the basics, these are the fundamentals. Are we really civilized if we don't
We
have
fouled
clean
our
water?
nest for sure.
I think
So,
that
you
to
know, I don't
get
know.
here, we had to be. No, we didn't have to be. I think we got here by being wolves, and now that we're here, it's time to ask. On top, not a place on earth you can go where another animal will overcome the fact that you brought a rifle. So now that we're here, the question is it necessary to stay wolves? And I think the answer is no. It's time to be elephants, and also to be forgiving when
Yeah.
one of us occasionally goes through
Yeah.
mush and
Or a
stops
deer.
doing.
Or a doe in my backyard. They don't fight anybody, only over mating
Um,
season. The bucks will fight, but they don't kill anything.
Oh, and
I
that's
think
totally understandable.
I think we should
Of course.
maintain I
That's
think we
mating
should
season.
maintain strength. I think that is important. Strength against the unknown. But
Mm.
a type of strength which is not it's designed to protect ourselves and not to bring about doom to other things.
Hey, I want to point out,
Never
not to
do.
end the conversation at all, but we're over an hour, just in
Mm.
case anybody was
Oh.
counting on rolling out at an hour. See how time flies by when you're having a great time with friends?
Yeah, this was really
Um,
good. I
This is the
enjoyed this.
longest
I mean,
hour
you
of my
know,
life.
if
Oh,
anybody
Andrea, shut up.
if anybody wants to go,
Hey,
it's
you.
you can go if you want to. We can keep talking about this. I can start rolling out the dad jokes, and then you can run for
Yeah,
your
then
life,
we all
whatever you
want to
want.
leave. Hey, Antonio, do you have any dad jokes?
Ooh, you bet. I
Oh
bet
God,
you
you
do.
put me right on the spot.
No,
You-
don't
You want
worry
me to
about it.
tell one while
Matt
you
has
think
enough
of
dad jokes for us to flow out of the show, or at least maybe I'll leave. I don't know.
like I don't use my platform to promote certain products, but like
Okay.
one product that I really do think is worthwhile would be a podium. I can really stand behind that.
You son of a.
You have to put that applause. You gotta get sound effects. You gotta
It's better when it's just dead silent. So people
dead
going,
silent.
is it as obvious as it? Because that is funny. No,
Well,
it's not.
I
How about
guess
this
the
one?
Governor of
I
Arkansas
thought you were gonna
felt
try to
that way.
raise $20,000.
No. Here's the joke. This isn't like a dad joke. This is just like a joke.
All right.
And it has to do with some swearing. So just so you know.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
But this there's
Oh.
this guy working in the produce section at the grocery store, and this woman walks up to him and says, "Hey, where's all the broccoli?" And he's like, "I'm really sorry, we ran out of broccoli. We'll have more tomorrow." And then he goes back to like whatever he was
I've
doing
heard this one.
in the
I'm already
produce
laughing.
section.
I've already.
And then she comes up to him again and she's like, "Hey, by the way, where's all the broccoli?" And he's like, "There is no broccoli. We ran out. I'm sorry. We'll have more tomorrow. For now, today, no broccoli." Then she comes up to him again later and is like, "Excuse me, where is all the broccoli?" And he goes, "Okay, can you spell cat as in catastrophe?" And she's like, "Yeah, CAT." And then he says, "Can you spell dog as in dogmatic?" And she's like, "Yeah, DOG." And he goes, "Can you spell fucking as in broccoli?" And she goes, "There is no fucking broccoli." And he goes, "That's what I've been trying to tell you."
Okay.
I actually like that one.
That was good. Yeah, that was. Oh shit, Matt! I know you have a million of them. Come on,
Yeah,
Andrea.
I gotta hold back.
Andrea,
What the
don't you have
fuck?
any dad jokes?
You
I don't
better- hey,
tell
you
jokes.
gotta.
I specialize in making people laugh just by
Yes.
being a dumbass, just by doing
No.
things that most people
Sarcasm.
would not think of doing.
Sarcasm.
I don't need jokes. It's a
Witty.
little too, jokes are a joke, really. I mean, we've been making these jokes, oh, look at me, where there's no fuck in broccoli. How I get it? Because fuck, and then it's in, it's so funny. We've all seen that joke before.
and
I've heard it before,
But
Obviously,
like,
there's no fucking broccoli. There's no you.
do
There is there two C's? I don't know, actually.
you know what? Nobody uses calendars anymore. I feel like their days are numbered.
Okay.
See how Antonio responded to that? That's how you
Oh.
do it. That's
So
how you
you guys,
respond.
so you guys, I do have one. I don't know
Oh,
if you
yes.
see this, but this is a knee scooter, and so everybody's been calling me Scooter.
Oh boy.
Wow.
Like the
I think
Muppet.
it's a good nickname.
Oh
Is
boy.
that funny?
It's funny, and I'm gonna
like,
have
that's
to
a
remember
joke.
that for our next show. I'm gonna introduce it.
Scooter.
Scooters with me tonight. All of you never knew, but Antonio's nickname has always been Scooter.
Scooters.
Scooter.
All right,
You
I'm
gotta
gonna
say it with a
steal.
little bit of a southern drawl too. Scooter.
I'm gonna
Scooter.
steal.
Scooter.
Groove. I'm gonna steal Groove. I'm gonna work with Groove Dragon if that's all right with you, and Groove Dragon and Matt if I can. Groove Dragon told a joke, Matt. Don't look in the comments if you're on the
I
screen.
know that
but
joke.
Could you get ready to put the punchline on the screen?
Yeah.
Just get ready, and then
Yeah.
I'll wind it up. All right. Groove Dragon says Jake doesn't have children, so what do you call a fake dad?
Didn't.
Boom, boom.
A faux
Well
pas.
done.
A faux pas.
My wife said, I don't exercise a whole lot, but my wife said I should do lunges to stay in shape. And I said, well, that would be one big step forward.
You know what? If I wasn't on all those oxys, I would probably have more jokes.
Ah,
Oh, well, we'll forgive you till the next time. You're going to sit in for me when I'm away. I hope.
Gang, I am gonna.
Oh
scoot,
yeah.
well,
but thank
Jake,
you so much.
Jake's
real-
always the
real
first to
quick.
go.
real
Jake,
quick,
you're gonna.
Jake,
I got to
Jake,
go
you're
too.
gonna
I have to
scoot?
bring my cats to the vet in the morning.
what
Sandy's
sir.
always the first to go.
what do you
Yeah.
call a factory that makes okay products?
I don't know what.
Satisfactory.
Ah,
Factory.
there we go.
All right, you
Oh, boy.
monsters.
Okay.
All right.
Antonio, thanks
Oh.
for hanging out. This was awesome.
Is the
Hey,
show over? Like,
thank
we're
you
just
guys for
losing
inviting me.
2 people.
Well-
I mean, we can keep going.
Wait, no,
I'm gonna be
anybody that wants to
leaving
go.
Because I
Have a
have
good
to
night.
get up, and then I know it keeps rolling on
I'll be the
Environmental
last
Coffee
man.
House.
This
So
is-
my
and
chat it'll keep rolling on Environmental Coffee House, even if I'm not here. Antonio didn't say anything about getting off yet. I'm going to say goodnight to all of you. Thanks for coming. I have
Bye.
to
Good to see you
do the
again.
vet thing, and I have to
Okay.
figure out I leave. The big red X. Bye
Sandy,
bye.
I love
Bye-bye.
hanging out with you. See you around, my friend.
See ya.
So now is when Sandy just talks in the chat for the remainder of the show. Like she said she's gonna go to sleep, but we could go on for 3 hours and she'll still be posting like, "Hey guys, how's it going? 1 a.m. here." You know, that's what she did last time. You know, so
I have to be
Oh.
the last one because I'm the one hosting. So
and
Yeah,
so
I
that
fe-
means
I
I
feel
can
bad about
ruin
that.
Matt's Thursday by staying here as long as I want.
You're
Well,
gonna
that's why I
start
don't
the
do
show.
anything on Thursday.
It was awesome hanging out with you again, my friend Antonio. It was awesome hanging out with you and meeting you. That was a fascinating conversation.
Absolutely.
And Matt,
I know.
uh,
Could be better. I get it. I get it. I don't
No,
dispute that. It could be better.
I adore this group. Thank you for inviting me to it. I'll see
Yeah.
y'all around.
Take care.
All right, take off as well, guys. Thank you for
Okay.
inviting me.
Yeah. We'll see you.
All right, thank you. You're
right,
welcome
good
back
night.
on anytime. Not next week, but any other time. Actually, I would say maybe block out the 31st week of 2025 as well. I think
Oh,
that's
okay.
probably not gonna work. But any other time, I think, would be
Yeah.
acceptable for most
Anytime.
people.
Anytime.
guys are
There
great.
is a certain number of people I can have on screen at one time. I don't think we'll get there. So anytime you want to come on.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
Hey, take it easy, guys.
Take care.
I will not take it easy. I'm gonna
Alright.
I'm gonna take it very medium difficulty, please. Thank you.
Andrea, we have to read super chats. There are 3.
Do we have to?
Yeah, it's the rule.
It's the rule?
$5. I can't afford this, but I'm super drunk. So you went, $50. 50 pounds.
That's a lot more than $50 too.
Do the
I think.
conversion. Wow. Who is that for? I think that was for Sandy. That's great. It's huge. Thank
that
you,
great? I
Scaly
mean,
Bubble.
You're like, you just gave 50 pounds, like 70% of that goes to Sandy. So what is that? Like 30% goes to YouTube. So you're just funding Google's,
So that Sandy
Machiavellian
can keep
operations.
doing her show. See what I mean? It all, without YouTube, no Environmental Coffee House, right? Unfriendly Atheist, $2. The pineal gland is the light of the world. That's funny because there's a hormone that's called the darkness of the world or something that's generated in the pineal gland. I don't know. Somebody explain that. Somebody pick up what I'm putting down.
I'm very weak.
My dogs are goth. $5. Pew, pew, pew. My dogs are goth ejected somebody from my chat, which was epic because I have a bar for bouncers of a chat room.
A bar for bouncers?
Yeah, so if you get bounced from this bar, that's definitely on you, right? See what I mean? They're all mods. So if somebody shows up without that wrench, keep your eye on them. Andrea is naturally fucking funny. No punchline. That's awesome. Donald James, that's for you. He's been a member of you for 14 months.
Thank you, Donald James. Thanks.
Loyal member of the community for sure.
Not that loyal. This guy's been giving me some fucking pushback in my goddamn chats. Like,
Oh, you don't want pushback?
well, I don't mind pushback. It just lets me know who I'm judging in the next show. Like, oh, you're pushing back on me. All right, champ. More like chump.
Oh, jeez, the guy. Come on. See how you
Yeah.
treat your members. Come
Yeah,
on.
this is how I treat my members. You better remember that. See?
Oh, you
Huh?
did it. You did it.
That was like I didn't have it written down like you do, where you just go like, let's see, I'll do that one. That was right there, like it just came up with it,
Pretty good.
It's just
$4.99 from 0PE. Andrea is spot on, saying we all experience reality in different ways individually.
Don't forget the emojis. You
High
got 3 of
five,
them.
fist,
Is
thumbs
that
up.
high five? No, I think it's like praise the Lord or some shit. You know,
Raise
is
the
that
roof.
like what this is? Is
That's
it raise
raise
the
the
roof?
roof.
Oh, I've always ever seen this in like a church
That's what
context.
we
I don't
called
go
it
to
when I was a
parties.
kid.
I don't go to parties.
An actual cloud, $4.99. Enjoy the cash, YouTube. Get yourself a coffee. Unfortunately, Andrea gets a couple of bucks too. Oh,
You don't.
Soul Life, $2. If you don't chew Big Red, then fuck you. God. Andrea, do you know what Big Red is?
Oh, it's a gum.
Yeah.
I've had that gum. I used to have when I was very young, I liked to chew gum. I don't know why, but it was like an oral fixation, you know, it kept my mind occupied.
It's like
And
a
I
candy.
tried every like cinnamon gum that was available, and I remember that quest. I didn't like any other flavor. I like cinnamon. So.
Donald James, member for 3 months.
This motherfucker's being a member in every chat. Like, oh, look at
Andrea,
me.
that's what I said.
I get my free notification.
Loyal member of the community. That's what I was saying. He said that you've convinced him before. So
That's my goal, is to brainwash everyone into believing everything I say or scare them away. And so, you know.
0 PE, $1.99. Andrea is hella funny. Uncle Mother F had me dying.
Are they the uncle or the mother? I don't quite understand the comment. I'm not familiar with this source material.
How come nobody ever says that was so
Uncle
funny
Mother.
you had me living? Why is it I died laughing instead of I lived forever laughing? Yeah, it's not the same.
You ever think
I
about
know.
how weird humor is? Like, okay, so there's a certain combination of words and it causes us to like wheeze. Like, what the
And
fuck?
like from day one, you could do something to a baby and it will die laughing. You know what I mean? It will just sit there like cracking up. Who taught it that?
Why?
Where did that come from? It's like laughing is like sneezing. It's totally involuntary, right?
Sometimes I do that to Max. Like, we're just hanging out in bed and I just like do the funny faces bullshit and he does not laugh. So I don't think he gets it. I don't know if he has a sense of humor. He just looks at me and he's like,
That's awesome. Yeah, sometimes I'm like really being corny and my dog is super serious and I'm like, are you having fun or do you think I'm losing my mind? Scaly Bubble says, here's another 10. I mean 7, you pedantic fucks.
so it seems that I have successfully engineered extra money. Not for any of us, but obviously for Google. So, you know, I guess I should come clean. I got hired by Google a couple of months ago. You know, that's why we're doing this whole thing, begging for the dollar bills and super chat form. Don't give us any money on anything else where we would collect a higher margin, like Patreon. Definitely don't give us money there. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, you know, that have lower fee taken out of them. Definitely don't give us money there. Obviously, you know, because why would anyone do that?
I'm not here for the cash. Just kidding.
And what are you here for?
I'm here to like I justified it to myself where I was like, and this is silly, but I was like, no, I need to get monetized. I need to make money so I can keep doing it so that I can keep promoting other and see it just falls apart right away. It's all capitalist. It just makes me sick. But I'm having fun.
It just makes me sick. Anyway, super chat time. Let's read some super chats. Like I'd say fuck the super chats.
They all
give
just
us
rolled
money.
in.
Like we should have like a fucking wall of shame, you know? Like, yeah, like who would possibly give money to the letter hack? I mean, in this, do I look like I need money? Like, hello? I don't think so.
I think there's, you know, I don't want it, but I kind of need it.
Do you though?
Yeah, I mean, I had to. Yeah, that's how I get out of the. it's like funny. It's like, how do you get off the grid? Can you? Is that a thing? Yeah, you can buy your way off.
That's true.
So, kind of trying to do that.
Yeah, Greenland gonna look pretty good in 20 years. So
Oh, that's a new question I've been wanting to ask people as we get closer to the election, because inevitably people are going to start saying that thing again where they're like, if he wins, I'm leaving the country. It's like, really? You're going to change nationalities based on embarrassing politicians? Because I got news for you.
well, I mean, I might have to leave the country. This
Where would you go?
motherfucker was saying he's gonna like round up the transgenders, you know. So I don't know, but
No, I will
but
come to
where
your
would
house
I
and set
go?
them off.
I would go to Greenland. I would go to New Zealand. I would go to Canada, maybe. I don't know, but
Where's Canada again?
I think it's in Europe.
Is that western of here? Is that western or eastern? I can't. There was a show where a guy was like, "Do you like to play tennis?" And he's like, "Let's play football." Remember that? It was
What?
hilarious.
But what is this?
Like a bow and arrow, like archery.
Archery?
Yeah.
And that's a sport?
Shooting an arrow at a target with a bow. Yeah.
I mean, like,
Takes a lot of skill.
I don't know, like tennis. I know about tennis. I mean, I know
love tennis.
archery. I know people do archery, right? But I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I feel like archery is in a separate stratified category than archery. I feel like archery is a lot more niche, you know?
Do you like oh, it is. Do you like tennis? Do you watch it?
I watch tennis.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I love watching tennis.
That's not I don't believe you. I love
tennis.
I watch a lot of tennis because it's year round and it's international. It's great. There's sponsorship, but it's like individual sponsorship for the athlete. It's not like the NFL brought to you by beer and the military. You know what I mean? It's more like if you do well, you'll get sponsorship, and then you got to wear their shirts when you play, and then you win prize money, and you can keep going. And there's like a international ranking. It's really exciting. I think it's really fun.
Tennis, everybody. Tennis.
And
I would
it's
play tennis. I would definitely play tennis.
it's so fun to play because you can be bad at it and get a great workout. It's called HIIT.
High intensity fucking
Interval
there's-
training. Yeah.
Yeah, I always forget the fucking second eye because it's
It's
HIIT, you know,
wonderful.
like HIIT has one eye, motherfucker. What is this interval bullshit?
It's HIIT.
Now I know all about HIIT.
It's fun. I love it so much. My wife and I are out there all the time now. It's really fun. So,
Sounds fun. Almost as fun as raking in the super chats. We got any new super chats?
no, but are you saying without super chats you're ready to wrap it up?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm changing the subject away from tennis. I'm trying to get as far away from tennis as not.
I mean, I don't know. We have 84 people watching
There's 84 motherfuckers watching, like between all of our things.
across 5 platforms,
Fuck. There's 5 platforms?
and this is what we're talking about.
Who's the 5th?
Antonio,
Okay, I just assumed they would be on the same channel.
maybe
But
his
he has his
Facebook
own-
page.
Oh. So can I just like take this moment to like talk about my special interests?
Yeah, please.
All right, so I've been playing a lot of Doom. Have I ever talked about that on this show?
Go for it.
Doom.
Doesn't matter. You cannot be
anyone-
redundant.
Well, I like Doom. And I speedrun Doom. I also make levels for Doom. And I'm cooking up some new stuff. I know this audience, not very skilled. Honestly, dare I say, not intelligent, because what is skill at playing a video game? It's intelligence. You know, how quickly can you grasp new concepts and then like actionize them? So when you say, oh, I can't play video games, what can you do? You know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't be that hard. So anyway, I make Doom levels. People should play them. It would be cool if you played them. And I have a page on Doom Wiki, and because I'm a famous Doomer, and you can find all my levels there. You should play them. I got some new ones coming out soonish. I do an annual series. It's going to be annual as of this year, because the first time you do something, it can't be annual. You ever hear the phrase "first annual"? The fuck is that shit? That's not
It's
real.
just you intend for it to be.
Yeah, but like this year it's going to become the second annual. I do a yearly Christmas Doom experience, and it's called A War on Christmas. And this year, the second one is going to be coming out. So now it's going to be an annual thing. I released a Halloween game. So, check that out. It's got orange. Does anyone like orange? I speedrun Doom. I've said this before. I have a whole separate YouTube channel.
What do you mean
where I
it has
speedrun Doom.
orange?
The color.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's orange.
Have you been through all the Godfather movies yet?
Yeah.
Did you notice the oranges?
Yeah, we had a conversation about this.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
You got fucking COVID brain fog going on.
I've done
Holy.
56 interviews since February. So ask me to remember one conversation.
I don't know.
Tough.
I don't know. But it does have orange in it. And I have a channel on YouTube called Doom Speedruns. When the YouTube handles came out, I stole it, and I don't know. So check it out. I'm really into that. That's my special interest. So if you think politics are cool, we could be talking about generational trauma and how the Holocaust happens, and then Israel's created, and then they do their own Holocaust, and how weird is that? Like, that's crazy. But we can also play video games, and you can watch me play video games as well.
I played the first Doom when it was called Wolfen something.
That's not the first Doom. That's just Wolfenstein 3D. That was released 1 year earlier.
But that became Doom, though, right?
Oh, it's the same company, so.
But it was like the exact same game. It's just next time they called it Doom. Isn't that the one where you could go into God mode?
You could. I don't think
fun.
you couldn't go into God mode in Wolfenstein unless you're doing some command line stuff. Were you fucking with the command line?
It was on a PC, and it was, I want to say 91, 92?
92?
Yeah.
And May of 1992.
And we were all like 7 of us were gathered into my friend's dad's home office around this computer, and I would sit there, and because I just took over, but we would sit there and just go into God mode, and it was so, I was like, why isn't the game just like this?
Well, it is if you're the best in the world. If you're talking about Doom, that's December 1993. But I'm the best in the world, so the whole game is like God mode for me because I'm that good.
Wow.
Yeah, remember before I said I was number 2? Not anymore. I'm the best in the world. And if I can use that for something, I'm going to use that to tell you to play the goddamn game. I don't know how many times I need to sit here on my fucking shows and tell you to play Doom. It's the best game ever made. You get to play my levels. Like, Letterhack makes art. What do? You look at a fucking picture and you go, oh, look at that. That's cool. And then you fucking close the tab.
Very cheap.
I make art that you get to interact with. You get to breathe inside of. You know what?
Between the two of us, one of us is the best at something in the whole world. I can't, and it's not me.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm not upset about it. You know what I'm
not looking at the chat, by the way, so I'm just screaming at a void. I'm sure people are actually responding to me, if you could believe such a thing. But I hope not.
You know what I was gonna just say? Just think about this sometimes. I used to be addicted to soap, but then I got clean.
No. You ever think about how soap has fucked up chemicals in it? Like, we're supposed to be putting this on our bodies to clean ourselves, and it's giving us cancer. What the fuck?
What is soap scum? I'm just saying, like, if soap is meant to be clean, how can it get dirty? How can soap get dirty? Like, how do you clean dirty soap? You know, when two vegans are in an argument, do you still call it a beef?
Oof. Oof.
I ordered a chicken and an egg from Amazon. I'll let you know which one gets here first.
You can order chickens on Amazon now.
Probably, but I didn't really do that.
Well, why
So,
not?
Um,
Are you coming on here to say that you just said something that wasn't true?
next time somebody asks you, do you want a box for your leftovers? Say no, but I'll wrestle you for them. Do you want a box for your leftovers? You say no, but I'll wrestle you.
But do they really say, do you want 2 box? Or do they say, do you want a box?
I think the way they would say it is, do you want a box? Like wanna. Do you wanna? Like mumbling, like a good American. Just let your words run
Like, what kind
together
of waiter is
and
going
create
like,
new
"Do you want
meaning.
a box?" You know? Like, I mean, aren't they supposed to be energetic and animated and, like, dancing for tips and stuff? I always tell my waiters, "Get on the table and do a jig, and I'll give you money." Like, I don't know, like, maybe we'll box.
I like the way you use your hands when you talk. I do that. Shout out to my fingers. I can count on all of them.
I can't. I can only count on these 3, actually. I developed this problem when I was in middle school,
Oh, really?
as I would count, and I would just get stuck here.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
I have to, like, do this, like, use my other hand, and if I let go, it just goes right back down.
Oh, huh. You ever try and like, I don't know, do some sort of physical therapy to correct that?
That's why I play video games all day. I use my fingers.
You
And
know,
still
if a kid refuses to take a nap, are they guilty of resisting arrest? It's a cop joke.
I mean, can you
Uh,
really joke about such a morbid
I
subject and
mean,
make
at one of these, I'm just gonna end the stream as soon as I'm done with the joke.
Really? Okay, so what you're telling me is that you're tired and you wanna leave, and I'm filibustering this bitch?
No, I'm not tired, and I don't want to leave. I just wonder. And remember, before I said there were 84 people watching, 60 some now. Gone
Yeah,
down.
because I started talking about things that make me fucking happy, and people don't wanna see me be happy.
What
They
is
wanna
that?
see me be fucking mad.
People love like you watch the news and they've rolled out the theme music for the bad news. They rolled out the graphics for all the awful bad news, and the way they talk is the way report like CNN was on in my house the other day and I overheard it and I was like, they are talking about some of the worst stuff the same way they talk about the weather, the same tone of voice, but it's just different music and graphics. I just no one I feel like no one stops to think, oh, they're banking on this. The ratings are way up. People are just glued to the screen, right? They're like, oh my God, all this awful stuff. And oh, and I'm not on their side. There's the opposition. I gotta hate watch this, and
Oh, I love the concept of the
dread
hate
watch.
watch. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hate watching like shows like reality TV or DIY or something that's like really obnoxious and you hate watch that. But like the news,
Yeah, I gotta see what CNN is saying so that I know how wrong they are.
hmm,
So why was CNN on in your house? Can we interrogate this?
I'm not the only one that lives in this house.
And you live with someone that watches CNN?
Yeah, it's a long story, but yeah, it was this in this case. It was a good thing.
Now that troubles me even more.
I think you get to a point in life. Some people get to a point in life where I want them to pay attention to certain things. I want them to know about certain things going on in the world.
Did you see that fucking March for Israel bullshit that was going on?
Yeah, I saw a lot of supposed good guys standing next to some very bad guys. I saw a whole crowd of people chanting for that new House Speaker, and I'm like, he is not. You can't look. This is something that I will never be. I will never shift my way of thinking on this. If you're wrong all the time, and then one time you're right, there's no reason to give anybody credit. It's like if Candace Owens says something that you agree with, who cares? That
I
person was
agree with that
irrelevant
one, yeah.
from the very get-go. Like
A lot of
nothing they
people
said
love
mattered.
to do like, think of it in like the YouTube title. Shock! All capitals, : dumbest person in the history of the world says something logical, but then they don't tell you what it is. So then you gotta go, oh man, I gotta click on this.
Or like, I hate the words. I gotta give him credit. No, you don't gotta
Now, can we
give.
examine
Who
this?
said
What
you
is
gotta?
credit? Like, what is
Yeah,
this fucking
yeah.
mystery thing that all these news politicians and fucking anchors are? Oh, we give them credit for that. Credit? What fucking credit? Can we get a fucking credit keeper? Like, can we track how much credit you're giving out? Like, how much credit do you have? How much credit are you allocated? And how much are you giving out? Because if you're giving everyone credit, wouldn't that necessarily inflate the total credit supply, thus diluting the amount of value that everyone else that you've given credit for over the years has, right? So you're giving George W. Bush credit, you're giving Hillary Clinton credit, you're giving fucking genocide, whatever the fuck credit, like, what is this credit bullshit? Can we move away from credit? Maybe give them debit.
People need to evolve. Like I used to play piano by ear, but now I use my hands. And just imagine if I still play by ear, it would hurt. That side of my head would just be really pain.
You ever
all
see
the
these
time.
motherfuckers that can like wiggle their ears with such like dexterity?
Yeah, I'm doing it now.
Oh, that's not bad. Can you hear Max? He's making dog noises.
You better go look into that.
Can you hear that though?
So yeah, something
He like
weird.
he makes those noises when he's sleeping. I don't know what they're for.
So this is what I do when my dog starts to
Max,
obviously.
are you all right?
He's catching frisbees. When my dog is having a dream and they're moving around and everything, but they're asleep, I put my hand on the dog without petting them. I just put it like on her back or something, and she calms down. And now I have entered the dream. You see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. I do that.
Cool,
sometimes.
right? And now it's like the dog is like, oh, my dog calls me this guy.
Okay.
Did I ever tell you that? Like, you know how you always like think of like how your dog talks, right? My dog is always like, oh, this guy's home. Oh, is this guy going to give me dinner now? Hey, this guy, move over. I'm getting up on the couch. Like she calls me this guy. Because I feel like our relationship is very one-sided. Like I'm just here to serve her. So she says,
You think so?
this guy always drops food under the dining room table. I love this guy. You know?
Pretty good guy. I mean, you got free food. Imagine from the dog's perspective, free food raining down like manna from heaven,
Yeah. Anyway.
So, and
wrap it
another
up.
thing about
Oh,
Israel.
go ahead.
Now that's when you cut.
Yeah. That's when I say, hey, we're streaming on 5 different people's platforms and there's only 2 of us.
Yeah, but like that's the thing. We need to make it so that like the majority of the show is just like me talking about my favorite video games.
Oh yeah. Well, next time, get on it. Like right off the bat. Just start.
Oh, is that a joke?
No,
Well, you said right off the bat.
that's a very common expression. No, what I'm
It
saying is,
sounded like a joke. I don't know. Like you
When-
gave the delivery.
yeah,
You're
it's-
like right off the bat.
I'm just always dry. When we start the show next time, just be like, hey, this is what I want to talk about, and now we're all locked in. We have to.
So when you say we start the show, you really mean you, because you're the one who presses the button. Like I wasn't even ready today, and you're like, oh, we're starting the fucking thing.
You weren't
know?
ready? We were sitting here for like 10 minutes.
I was not even close to ready. I needed at least another 10
For
to get ready. Well, you think I just pop
Explain.
in and I'm all of a sudden I'm ready to go?
you make it look that way. Very effortless. That's a compliment. I don't understand. Like how okay, so get ready. Walk us through it.
Well, I have to get ready. I don't know what else.
Like- Like I'm getting ready. Or
Well, I don't have a
or
routine.
center
If that's what you're
yourself.
asking. It's more of like I just need to get ready. It's like it's
Game
hard
face.
to describe. It's-
Energy.
yeah, I guess it's energetic, energizer.
So at what point after I abruptly started the show after asking everyone and checking the audio and going around making sure everyone was ready, at what point during the show were you actually like, oh, I'm fucking ready now. Here I made it.
About 20 minutes ago.
It's awesome. Well, we're coming up on the second hour of our 1 hour show.
Is this a 1 hour show? Like we keep talking about that. Like when was
No.
that? Was there a meeting that I
No.
missed or something where we decided, yeah, we're gonna stop the show at an hour? Like what the fuck? When did that happen?
We said that we would.
And more with the Wii here, like the Nintendo Wii.
No one disagreed when I suggested we be a minimum of 1 hour, and then I would make a note of it in case anybody wanted to leave.
Well, why does it
After
have to
an
be a
hour.
minimum? Like, what if like World War III breaks out? Like,
No, a half an hour show is worth. Well, okay, under catastrophic circumstances, yeah, we'd bail. But I mean, if you get down in the shelter, but if less than an hour with 4 people, if we can't sustain 60 minutes of content with 4 people, we shouldn't be doing this. So, I think
mean,
people
we
would be
can't do it
like,
with
I feel
4.
robbed.
like, but can we do it with 7?
Yeah. I had 7 people on the show one time, went over 3 hours. That was epic.
I don't know if I could do a show with 7 motherfuckers. Like 5 people were already talking over each other. Fucking Jake saying this, Antonio saying that. I'm trying to
I
get
like
all the
that.
nuggets of wisdom. I don't
That's
like. I
good.
panic. I don't know what to fucking say. I gotta.
I like
And then
that.
I
I
feel
like
bad
that.
when I talk over someone. It's like I don't know. Like there's that weird little delay going on. How am I supposed to know?
Yeah,
I don't know how to read body language, let alone on a fucking computer screen.
I
with
love
fucking,
all
like,
that.
I don't get it. I don't like it at all. It's fucking terrifying. And then I feel bad. I feel like I'm having a crisis, and then I don't talk, because it's like, well, I don't want to interrupt someone, and then
That's
it's like,
my
well, the
favorite
only way to
part.
actually get a word in is you have to interrupt someone before they end the sentence. You have to like be able to gauge, is this person going to end their fucking sentence yet? And then what if you misgauge? What if they had a comma and not a period and they were going to keep fucking going? And then you're the ass fucking hole who interrupted them trying to get your fucking tidbit in that wasn't funny to begin with. And then what if you get your funny tidbit in, but like no one heard it, so then you have to repeat yourself, but it's not funny the second time because all the context isn't there anymore.
Go into the private chat and say, Matt, can you mute Jake so I can get a word in edgewise? Because I have that.
Was that a joke? Like you did the smile thing, so I can get.
I have that power.
Edgewise, like
I have that power. Well, it's almost midnight on the East Coast. Just about Thursday on the East Coast. I love saying when it's the next day on the East Coast, like because DJs used to do that. 12 or 11:55 p.m. on the East Coast. Significant.
But what about the West Coast of Europe?
Nobody cares what time it is in Canada. What are you talking about?
It's funny because
Western
You end the show,
Canada.
and then it's because, and then we missed a chance.
Yeah.
It's already over now. We got to keep going.
Canada is America's hamburger bun. Impossible burger bun. I didn't mean to offend your vegan sensibilities.
So there's only one bun?
Christy Z just said, Matt, can you mute Jake? Yes, I can mute anybody at any time, which is why I won't.
That's not true. You muted me like a fucking couple shows ago. You exercised this authoritarian,
didn't.
tyrannical power. I'm pretty sure you did.
Why?
I don't know.
I did.
I just noticed you got this like fucking Freddy Krueger ass shit going on. Like, what is that?
What?
This.
It's plaid. It's plaid. It's a buffalo plaid, which is originated in Canada. Buffalo plaid.
Was it made by a Buffalonian?
It seems so. Yeah.
Huh.
Well, as always, great hanging out with you.
Is it though?
Yeah. What are you talking about? Yeah.
You think so? I mean, I don't, you know.
That what I would have left.
Would you have? I mean, you said earlier that that you can't leave. You have, like, when you leave, it's over, right? Like, what happens if your internet turns off? Then is it on all the time forever?
Yeah, I can just leave my laptop up.
I don't understand. So your
I could
laptop
just
not
leave
connected to
everything
the internet?
open and set up and then go to my
But
library.
in the hypothetical that the internet, there's like a tornado, it blows out the tower, and you get disconnected against
fiber
your will?
optics. I think it's all
Fiber optics.
underground now.
Well, you're not dealing with the goddamn scenario I need to know to be ready. Like at any minute now, like a fucking.
Do you have a
tornado
shelter?
A
Fully
shelter?
stocked shelter? Yeah, for when it all comes crashing down,
Well,
you
of
can
course
run
I have
down
a
there
fully
and
stocked shelter with fucking 30 pounds of black beans, 30 pounds of fucking
bunch of dog toys.
of dog toys. I got some canned green beans.
What's the square footage
Square footage?
of the shelter?
I don't have a shelter.
Oh.
Like, what
Mine's
is
a
a shelter? I have a
cool-
basement,
Yeah. I don't know if that's going to protect you from fallout, but
I
or a
don't think it will.
hurricane. Better than nothing.
I'm more preparing for the zombie apocalypse, which I firmly maintain that we're already in the zombie apocalypse.
You mean the end of daylight savings when it gets dark real early? I agree.
Well, I mean that, but I'm also like, everyone's getting dumber. Have you noticed it? Everyone's getting dumber.
Yeah, but that's always been.
Yeah, but it's always been up until the point, like everyone starts at a certain intelligence, they get dumber, right? And then we cross the
getting dumber?
threshold for this. I think so. I think I'm getting dumber too.
Feel dumber.
See, that's the thing about being dumb is you don't know when you're dumb. Like dummies don't even know they're dumb.
So when people say, "Oh, I just did something really dumb," it's like, no, you didn't.
Yeah, well, that's just exactly.
You wouldn't know you were. Oh, okay. So like when somebody's like, "I think I'm going nuts," it's like, well, you wouldn't know.
That's exactly correct. I've been researching. I've been reading stuff about schizophrenia lately. I think that's a new interest of mine. I'm trying to understand what's going on with schizophrenia, and I think it's very interesting.
Yeah. I learned all about that in high school. I took
I dropped out of high school,
psychology
so I'm a
class.
little
That
late.
you know what? And I am shocked they let me leave high school with a diploma. Like, I don't know. I did everything I could to blow that and somehow got out of there. People were like, "Wow, you graduated high school." And I'm like, "You don't really know what was going on." I didn't. Just kind of is a technicality. And I didn't go to college. And I've had jobs where people were like, "Where'd you get your degree?" And I'm like, "I don't have one." And they're like, "Yeah, right. Where'd you get your degree?" And I'm like, "You think I'm that good at this job? Thank you." but
I mean,
I don't have
I'm
a
one of those
degree.
people that thinks college is a scam. I think high school is a scam. It's all a bunch of garbage. None of it matters.
Yeah, but it could. It could. They could do it right. If it was Montessori all the way through your education, it'd be a great thing. People would come out of there so ready,
Well, I mean, yeah, well, I
just
mean, we could, you
agreeable.
know, start using fucking renewable electricity, you know? We could solve world hunger. We could, you know, do all this, but we're not gonna do it.
Look at this. When I was in high school, you were allowed to be absent 15 days a semester. By the time I was a senior, it was 3 days. So you could miss a whole month of high school excused. And so we would hide fishing rods at the bus stop like the day before, like in the bushes, and then like walk to the bus, grab the fishing rods, and like literally just go fishing all day or crabbing or whatever we did. And we would,
What is crabbing and how is that different from fishing?
it's still fishing, but not for fish. Like you tie bait to a rope and then you tie the rope to a pier and then you let it go down to the bottom. And every
Like
now and
crabs are
then
so special that they get
crabs grab
crabbing?
the bait, and every now and then you pull the rope, and if it's heavy, there's a crab eating the bait, so you pull it up really slowly. Then somebody else has a net, and they scoop it up, and then you can just sit there all day getting a bunch of them. And then on the way home, you have like a wagon of them in like a bucket, and on the way home, you like sell them to the neighbors. Because in Annapolis, Maryland, they were like, "Ooh, you got fresh crabs?" So then everyone
So
had
let me get this
crabs for
straight. So a
dinner.
couple weeks ago, you're like, "Oh, I can't watch Saw 6, you know, it's too much." And now you're talking about torturing crabs and selling their fucking bodies
Yeah.
like to fucking your neighbors as if it's like, "Hey, just tortured this innocent being for no reason. You want to give me money for it?" What the
Yeah.
fuck?
I'll pay for it one day. But
Yeah, one
I
day.
think, I did skip a lot of school though. It was awesome because the other thing you could do is tie off a 6-pack of beer to the pier and it stays cool at the bottom of the creek because the temperature is cooler down there and no one knew you had beer. So did that too.
But would you
We
wipe off the top of the can or bottle?
yeah,
Was it can or bottle?
can. Of course though. Yeah, you'd wipe it off. But
Yeah, but like
also we
you
were
get
dumb
underneath
kids.
the tab though, like, you know, there could be some bacteria formation.
Look at me. I'm fine.
I don't know. You don't look fine. You got
I
pictures of
feel fine.
monkeys doing whatever the fuck right behind you.
I
You
had an
don't look
exam today and they said 10 for 10. No problems. You're great. And I was like, Ma, I knew that, but thank you for confirming. I was pretty sure I was great when I got up this morning. What if I said that? The doctor would be like, really? Come on, guy. You're still under 6 foot. It's not that great.
I mean, you know, at a certain height, you start to have diminishing returns. You know what I mean?
I
Like,
don't
do you
know.
really need extra couple inches? Like, what are you reaching for that's so far up there? You know?
5 after midnight, Thursday on the East Coast. And probably chilly outside. So if anyone's going out, grab a little jacket or a sweater.
Or a big jacket.
Or no jacket, no sweater, just a scarf. Or like a cape.
A cape.
Yeah.
Interesting.
To stay warm, like a urban shawl.
This is what I do. I just walk around the house with a blanket on like this. I just wrap myself like this.
Like
I just-
camping.
Yeah, but like I just do this all the time. Like I'm like cutting up onions, you know, like this with this, and then like the blanket falls and the knife flies up in the air. You know, that happened.
I can't be around cut onions without my eyes burning. That's like a thing I have.
Really?
That's like saying, "Oh, I can't eat hot sauce. It burns my tongue." Yeah.
Well, I
What's
mean,
wrong
like
with that?
that's you know what that is. That's a sign that your knife is dull and it's like breaking the cell walls or whatever the fuck. So when you
No.
cry from cut onions, you got to sharpen your knives. You got a fucked up knife.
No, these knives are sharpened weekly.
Apparently, your technique not as strong as you thought.
I'm allergic to onions.
You're
Only when
allergic
they're
to
cut.
onions.
Or I'm just really sentimental.
So like killing crabs for entertainment, that's fine.
I was
But
young.
watching a
Yeah,
poor
adolescence.
onion.
It was in my youth.
You know what they say about people that torture animals for fun when they're children?
That's not considered societally. It's not torture.
When society says it's okay, that's when you see the most fucked up shit.
You don't
though.
have any issue with me skipping school, faking
No,
notes
that's
from
great.
my mom. You know what
I
I would
think
do?
school is a scam. So.
For some reason, I thought that the notes were more authentic if they were a little crumbled from being in my pocket. I don't know why. But there was one girl in my school that I would get to write the notes. So it was always the same handwriting, which I thought was very clever.
That is clever. I once did a project where I created like a newspaper. Like, you know, I printed out like a newspaper article and then like I crumpled it up and I stepped on it and I put it in the washing machine, right? And then I like spilled coffee all over, you know, to make it look old. You ever do that?
Yeah. Yeah. I have.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
I'm an artist. So
It's pretty cool. Yeah. And then, you know, that just reminded me of that because you
If
crumpled up
we-
the notes.
the second we get under 58 viewers, we're back up to 60. The second we get to 57, I'm just going to abruptly end it. So this is like we were saying before. You just have to be ready for the end, right? You just have to be ready.
Oh, I'm not
any
ready.
minute for
I am not
everything
ready
to be
whatsoever.
over.
I am planning on living to 200 at least, at the very least. I mean, unfortunate for you, it doesn't, you know, I can see the hair color. It doesn't look like you're going to make it when the science, you know, science got
I
like
don't
30,
think that's
40
a
years
sign
left.
of death. I think it's just my hair is dying. I'm fine.
We'll see where you're at in 2063. How about that?
I'm going to be 49 in less than a month.
We'll see how you're feeling in 2063 when the fucking super gene editing comes along and you're like, you're already too old to qualify. You're just, you know, dust and bones.
Don't be mad when the show ends abruptly at 57 viewers, okay?
I will be extremely upset if this show ends, especially if it's in the middle of one of my very insightful remarks where I insult people for no reason.
Such as my gray hair. Actually, it doesn't start now.